Well, Nebraska will battle it out this weekend for win number 6 and bowl eligibility against the UCLA Bruins. And I figured a lot of the conversation over the last few weeks has been about the offensive side of the ball. One of the things I did want to break down real quick is the explosive plays that Ohio State had against Nebraska, the two big explosive plays. Kind of break those down into a little bit further detail and see where some of these lapses are that are allowing Nebraska to still give up these explosive plays because, you limit one of those, then all of a sudden it's a completely different game, right? And Nebraska at majority of times has had the ability to keep the offenses in front of them and eventually get off the field. It's these explosive plays over the top that occasionally happen, and it happened against Ohio State, and it's going to happen occasionally against these good teams with these explosive athletes. But I'm going to go into some of the things that cause it and what we can do to maybe kind of mitigate it and what's leading to these explosive touchdowns. So first things first, though, if you're new here, please consider dropping a like. Really helps me out. Leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts or if you see anything differently than I do. And yeah, so I'm just going to kind of run through the two explosive plays, give you an idea of what I thought. Also, if you're new here, please subscribe. It really helps me out. Like I said, I appreciate everybody who always tunes in and helps out the channel. So, but let's go ahead and dive right into it. So the first one, now this was the touchdown over the top. And what you're going to see here is cover two, right? So we're going to see the two safeties right here covering these deep halves of the field, right? And so what cover two really does is it gives you a lot of options on this underneath stuff. It leaves you susceptible on the deeper routes. Naturally, there's a lot of green back here, and there's two players to cover it, right? So essentially what's going to happen here is, they're going to have this trips down to this side, and they're going to just try to almost, it's not quite a dagger concept, but kind of it almost looks like a variation of it. But what they're going to do is they're going to run. So basically these outside linebackers are going to play hook to curl. So they're going to have these right here, right? They're going to try to take these hook curl routes. You're going to get press man over here. He's probably going to match coverage on this. And then what's going to happen, though, is happening in here, right? And you're going to see the lapse comes from the eyes right here on this play, and you're going to notice a trend when it comes to the eyes as well. And again, these are plays that are designed to attack the safeties and attack the free safeties and put them in 2-on-1s, right? That's the goal. They're trying to put them in 2-on-1s and make them make a decision. Now we're going to let it run. You're not going to be able to see too much from just this play right here. But when we get back to the other side of it, there you see the touchdown. All right, so what we're going to see here, and Joe Klatt kind of breaks it down, but I like this angle here, so I can break it down for you. So essentially what Joe Klatt was trying to say is he's watching this guy. So typically, a lot of times what you see on this trips is the free safety will watch the two. And again, how you cover it sometimes depends on what kind of defense and how you roll your defense and coverages and stuff like that. There was nobody rolling under or rolling over the top or anything like that. So I'm just going to take this as a basic cover two, and let's let it run just a little bit. And what you're going to see here is you're going to see that inside guy, right? He's just going to stop right here and run this little curl route, right? So he's going to sit right here, and you're going to see the two guy, which is the middle. When I say two, that's going to be the middle guy in the trips. He's going to run this kind of little, like an in route, right? And then you see Giff right here. He's got his hips shaded to the outside and looking at these routes. And then this outside guy right here, he's the one who's going to run kind of this really deep post to the void here. And so let me just let this run, and cover two naturally susceptible to the middle of the field typically. But a lot of times you won't see throws like this too. You'll see throws like this, but like what I'm saying is with the post coming over towards the middle, because sometimes that gives an opportunity for that backside safety to get over, in which case in this one he couldn't. But I'm going to let it run through, and let's break this play down. So yeah, he's going to sit down here, and you're going to have these two defenders, right, come over to do it. And what like I said, they're playing these kind of hook curls here, and then he's playing this middle hole. And so what Bullock is going to do is he's going to slide over here and kind of take this. But Bullock does have the opportunity to kind of sink back a little further too and be able to sit on this route. Now, what happens here is you're going to watch. It's actually really good play too by these outside, good route by this outside guy here. And I want to just bring your attention to this route because he's going to take a step. Now watch this plant. It's almost like he's planting. He's going to start running as if he's going to cut out. And I want you to kind of notice that change in stride, and then he cuts in. So it's a little subtle detail there. But watch his stride, fakes out, boom, in. Okay. So there was like a 3 strides there where it almost looked like he was just leaning that direction right there. He starts right there, almost like he's got his, kind of head and he's leaning to the left a little bit, almost like he's going to go left. And then boom, makes the cut to the right. Now, what Gift does wrong here is Gifford gets beat on a couple of these. So Gifford is going to he needs to cover this deep. He doesn't need to let this man get past him. So what he does right here is he needs to actually kind of be reading the quarterback's eyes, because the quarterback's kind of doing a high to low look here. And he's going to basically make his decision off of what he does. So right now what you see this backside safety right here. First off, this right side route right here, he sits down right here. So he's covered by Sierra. Now, he could have kind of rotated a little bit over maybe to give him some extra help. But what Gift needs to do right here is he needs to, right as soon as this guy makes his break inside, he breaks down onto this route right here. And you'll see him kind of make that step down. And as soon as he makes that step down, Will Howard's releasing that ball over the top. And the backside safety can't get there in time because then he narrows it out, right? So when you run that, it's like a skinny post, right? See how skinny he makes it? And he almost makes it kind of up the seam. That way, if he posts it out too much and he's coming across too much, if he's coming across too much on this side, it's going to give that safety on the backside the opportunity to make the play. So he gets him beat, and then he kind of skinnies it up the seam, and just a beautiful throw off the top, right? So right there, again, just Gift making the wrong decision, kind of keying in on those underneath routes, and plants down, not reading the quarterback's eyes. By the time he sees what's going on, it's too late, and the ball is past him. So there's the first one. Now I wanted to rotate over to the next one here, and this was the deep one to Jeremiah Smith, okay? And this is a play that I also saw come open in the Indiana game, and I'll bring that up in just a second. But first things first here, let's let this run. I'm going to let the play run through here. There's the third one that they picked up. Okay, now letting the play run, you see it's a cover 3 look, and they attack the seams, right? Seams, you got the seams are susceptible against cover 3 naturally. All right, so you got the hole shots and you got the seams. So here we go. Let it run one more time. All right, so we got 3 deep safeties right here, or three deep defenders. So it looks like a cover 3. We're going to have one inside the hash here, and we're going to have one outside the hash here, and you're going to have Gift lined up over the ball. Okay, so that's important. He's just lined up directly over the ball. So what he needs to do, right? He should be backpedaling right now, but we're going to watch this, let it run. So you have these 2 defenders right here. So what he's going to do is he's getting out here and he's going to play this underneath, right? And you don't want to be covering grass. That's what you say a lot of time with defenses. You don't want to be covering grass. You want to be covering the player. So right now, he's in a position where everything's run out because they immediately just put stress on the defense. They wanted to create that 2v1 and make the safety make a decision. So what they're going to run with this outside route here, and what you're going to do, see Sierra do, is he's going to make contact, which is exactly what you want to do. You want to, collision and then catch, right? And so he makes the collision there, and he bounces off of this. And this route over here is going to kind of be a deep post. And I'm going to run that back just a second because you probably didn't see my mouse cursor. I had it on the wrong screen. But anyways, so you're going to see Sierra right here, and he's going to boom. He's going to force that route inside into that inside leverage. So collision and then collect, right? He's back here, and he's going to kind of see this little route right here and try to just cover the underneath of that. And this deep safety right here is going to get, these 2 safeties right here have to decide. And you got 2 routes, one coming up the seam, one coming vertical. So they're just stretching the field vertically right now. They have 3 routes going straight vertical. They have 1 flat route right here, and they have nothing else, literally nothing else. So one of the issues here is you got a couple defenders here just covering space, right? The safety up to the top, and which is up here, right? He's okay in this situation right now. However, I do understand Gift turning his hips that direction because that's the field side, a little bit more of the field side, a little bit more of the open side, right? So But what Gift needs to do is he needs to stay square here, and he needs to understand that if you have, two vertical routes pushing this direction, this is probably the area that you need to help the most. So as soon as he recognized those two vertical routes pushing upfield, now that his hips, so he has these two vertical routes pushing upfield. Now that he has his hips this direction, he's already turned around. So once his hips gets flipped the wrong direction, then he already knows that this route is going to come open, because now this defender is going to take this deep kind of route to the outside here, the kind of hole shot. So Gift gets turned around here. So again, we got one flat route here, and he's going to run, basically, they're both going to kind of run just little corner routes, right? And he's going to do the same thing on this side, and they're just trying to open Jeremiah Smith up on this seam route here. And that's exactly what they do. So we're going to watch it from the other angle next. All right, and then Gift's already beat. Okay, so let's watch it from the other angle next. They're going to show it from, there we go. Okay, so what you're going to see here, again, we're going to see just kind of the backside of it, and you're going to see 2x2. So you got two receivers and two receivers, right? So it's a balance, and you got just the running back in the backfield. So you see the route that they got Jeremiah Smith running, but you see right there, Sierra right collide, boom, force him inside. Now he's going to take this guy. So two's coming outside, and he's going to try to kind of protect this underneath of that. And then he's got his help over the top with this safety. Now, with him being taken kind of with that deep route, and that was kind of this is kind of a clear out route for Jeremiah Smith. So that is part of what they were trying to do here with this concept. And so he's going to run that out towards the sideline, and then Jeremiah Smith is going to come wide open because Gift kind of was lost in no man's land here. And I still don't understand why Gift's hips right here, like he takes a step towards this hash, right? And then immediately flips his hips this direction, which again, if he's watching the eyes, first off, Will Howard is looking this direction. Secondly, you have a receiver that's already in the flat right here. So there's this one route right here. That's what he should have already recognized. There's one route running deep right here, and there's two routes running deep at this side. I probably need to get back and help, start shading, backpedaling, and help on this side. So again, let's let it run and see what happens. All right, so we're colliding, catching. Now we got him running the deep safety off. Gifford got his hips turned around, not fast enough to make up for it. And there we go. Now, let me pull up the same route from the Indiana game, and I'll show you two instances in which that route's come. All right, so here we are in the Indiana game. Now, this one was actually, it ended up in a sack, but you're going to see here again, it's cover 3. You got the closed look over the top with the single high safety, and you're going to see kind of some runouts, kind of similar, but it's the same thing. They're kind of attacking, these vertical routes and trying to attack these susceptible areas against this cover 3. And it's a little bit different of a route concept. This is 4th and 2, as you see, but you're going to have this receiver right here kind of just pushing him towards the boundary. You're going to have these two receivers kind of running. He's going to run out. He's going to run kind of like a deep in, or, kind of like a even almost to a post to an in route. And they get the sack. Now watch from the other angle. Again, you're going to see the same exact route. Show from the front side angle. Look at that route. Okay. They're a little bit different here just in the way that the defense was set up. We didn't have 3 people right across, but it's still taking advantage of this seam, trying to get our DBs out of position. So basically what happens here is you have that other clear out route coming from this side, and that's making this, this defender right here, the safety, have to cover his deep third here, this middle safety, and him should be communicating on this, and this one should be somewhat covered by that middle safety. So again, that was wide open. That safety didn't rotate over in time. He didn't get back on this in time. So this is something that Nebraska needs to be aware of, that these teams are trying to really confuse the eyes of our safeties and really kind of take advantage of these seams. And they'll set these up with, certain concepts where, maybe they'll run a dagger concept and they'll dump it to the underneath. And then all of a sudden you're running the dagger, and then the high post is there, or the deep ball is there for whatever reason. Against cover two, again, they're going to try to work, some of those underneaths and then try to get you deep over the middle of the field, that type of thing. So these are just basic concepts that Nebraska, for the most part, execute well, but there are certain instances where the explosive plays are still getting up. And I think a lot of it just has to do with eye discipline and just understanding that whenever covering grass, we should be passing players off to our zones and trying to do the best we can. Now, understand that these routes and these concepts are designed to put the defense in stressful situations and have to make these decisions. But I think it does give some insight into the X's and O's of what's causing some of these explosive plays to happen. I think that can help Nebraska fans understand why some of these plays are still being broken. So if you do like this type of video, let me know in the comments, drop a like, leave your thoughts, let me know what you think. And yeah, with that being said, I will see you in the next video. Peace.